Great sunrise, family. Great sunrise. Today, I want to talk about letting go of the material world. And just what I mean by that, letting go of all of the constraints, releasing self from constraints, learning from the lessons of the past. Not only from your own experiences, but all that you see, you have been able to observe and absorb. So now is a time when I feel like I have a lot of things that I have to uh, let go of in order to be able to fly, to be able to be weightless, to be able to levitate, to be able to move and be free. So, some of those things that me personally have to do is to release myself from the lie of eating. The fact that we are told that uh, we need to eat many different things to have our nutrients. And so the way the way I see it is it only takes it's not about it's called letting go of the sugar, the taste, the need for a taste, the need for the indulgence when it comes to eating, and focusing more on what does that food supply the body, what does that food do for my body, and then it re- after that, when we find that particular food, hold on. Hold on. When we find that particular food that we can grow ourselves and we can focus and still have an indulgence, but because indulgence is it's just it's just another way of focusing in on what you're eating, but you're not indulging in it in the same manner you would sugars and food that tastes, satisfying, but may not be satisfying. But you're indulging in it from a different aspect. You're indulging in it from a health aspect. People always say health is wealth, and that is true. Health is wealth. And we need to gear our minds towards that truth. And um, when we start focusing on the health part of it instead of the enjoyment part of it. So that's one thing is my eating that I want to drop. that part of the material world. And that thinking, that idea that I have to have some luscious, commercial come on and have you want to go to Denny's or want to run to Wendy's for some good old fries. No, that must stop, moving forward into our glory. You know, we must find a food, do our research and study. And it can be two or three things that we can easily grow ourselves. It doesn't have to be a lot of things, but part of wanting to become greater self is letting go of the material world. And part of letting go of the material world is those things that we were told we need. It's all a lie. We don't need anything. So the way I see it is if we can find find a food that supplies everything that we can easily control and grow, which is what I want to do. That's my goal. That's find that one thing I can easily control and grow, and it only takes one bite of, because and the rest of my time would be um like they say, fasting. They call it fasting. Hey, Cora, Kathleen. But this particular food has to supply everything that I need. And it's not hard to find foods like that, you know. Of course, you have your fruits and your vegetables, You want to indulge in those. Um, because the planet is changing. And we will get sick if we're consuming meat products. If we keep consuming meat products, it weakens the resolve. It causes all kinds of mental health and emotional health. And it doesn't really allow you to, but you have to see for yourself. And like Dr. Africa always said, and Dr. Sebi always said, it formulates mucus. It causes mucus within us. And it contributes to the depression. It just it brings us down to a lower, because we're consuming that lower energy. Even though animals have all kinds of attributes, great attributes, they're still part of the lower energies. And we want to exceed the lower energies. And what it simply means to exceed the lower energies that cannot control their nature, is to be able to understand we can control our nature. That we don't need sex. Sex is a problem. That's my next subject matter. Because if we can rise above our sexual needs, then that's a huge part hold on, of becoming. Because when you think about it, you won't have to listen to a Cynthia G uh, talk about to keep your mind in a constraint place, a place of where you need to move beyond. You really need to move beyond all of that. So what? The black man wants to be with the white woman. It's time that we move beyond. Because I'll tell you this, the reason why it's time to move beyond spiritually is because we cannot be stuck. Um, and that also, it's a change coming. And no longer do we, um, even though, how do I want to say this? If a change is coming for us, that means that we need to not do things the same way. Relationships between the light being man and the light being woman also must change. The chaos that we've rolled into has shown that we have changed, that we have to evolve into something different now. So that means that we, in order to win that battle how we were destroyed, we will have to heal ourselves. And part of healing ourselves is being rising above the struggle. Part of rising above the struggle is stop thinking the way they have the beast. Stop thinking the way the beast has formulated our minds to think about relationship and sex, because we're thinking on a low level. We need to rise to a high level where sex is not just like food. We're not looking to enjoy, we're not looking for just enjoyment of those things. We're looking for something more out of those things. So, what would have to happen, and part of healing is to, and a part of healing from the food as well, is to be less of that, is to change the mind when it comes to sex and relationship and attraction. Um, the ideas that were put into our minds when it comes to relationship, we can no longer hold those ideas. And anyway, the way we think about sex in this society is a low level thinking. So we have to think from a high level point about it, about relationships. We have to see that we have a connection first. It's not about looks, it's not about all this materialism, which is beauty, um, all of this stuff. Um, it's going to be more about the heart, the energy, more about energy that's going to lift you from that. So the thing to do is to cleanse self of, um, how do I want to put it? Just like you would, just like you would fast, just like you would fast, you have to kind of fast from those sexual desires and sexual ideas and sexual needs, thinking that, you kind of have to take on a monk. Well, monks get it from us naturally, you know. what comes from us is what they studied, and they formulated the idea of a monk. But this was stuff that, you know, we had first. So you kind of have to take on those monk mentality when it comes to that. Cleanse thyself and soul search on what you really, really know that you want. Because it's not going to be about need anymore. We're going to focus on, we're going to make things into wants. And those wants are going to be healthy wants. No more, um, because once you let go of the need, the falsehood of need, then we can start over and refresh into uh, wants. And those wants will be supplied because the needs are already going to be supplied. The needs is there something that comes natural for us, but we have to control it ourselves. Right now, we're in a situation where our needs can be sanctioned anytime because the people that have control over those needs, they love sanctioning people. Um, just look at the third world, what they call quote unquote third world countries, that they always threatening to sanction because they don't do things they want them to do. We know the mentality well. Um, so once you let go of the mentality of what of the need the need for that sexual connection with someone, you'll start realizing what you really want is more than that. What you really want is more than that. And what you want, remember, that need will be supplied because you already know that that natural need will be there. We just have to kind of go back to the naturals, what I'm saying. Hey, and the next thing is money. Money is it's going to fall along the same lines with a little bit with the sex and the food and the eating. But money, most definitely, we have to stop the uh, the mentality of thinking, that was impressed upon us that we need it, almost like it's a God mentality. We don't need anything in real reality, when it comes down to it. Um, especially here in the matrix. Now, money is a man-made thing. The need for money is a man-made thing. Um, when we examine that, then we can start doing better with our finances. And doing better with our finances will allow us to do much or go more places and do more things that are more healthy for us. We have to think about what's healthy. Hold on a second, family. Hold on. we cannot fall for the tricks. As light beings, we have been taken advantage of. And that's what I was saying earlier about us learning from our past mistakes. And for example, like me, I now have a toll thing on my car, but I'm going to be more aware of those tools, and I'm going to be more aware of scammers. I'm going to be more aware of government because government is part of my imprisonment. So I'm going to be more aware, and I'm going to be very vocal to those things I see as wrong towards me as a person, as a light being. um, there has been so much. We're in a disadvantaged situation. We work very hard for our money as light beings, and we have been given much money just in ourselves, but so much has been taken away from us through our taxes. Um, and I question, why should we pay taxes? But yeah, in this society, those taxes need to come back to us, especially when you say you don't think we are owed any kind of retribution, any kind of healing. Why should we continue as a people to work so hard and contribute to a place that don't even see us, and then they take our money and give it to people they do see? You know, uh, that's that's totally disrespect. That's total disrespect in my mind. And it's the same thing as coming and burning down our homes and our everything that we built ourselves. It's no different. But the money aspect is, we don't let these things control us, we control these things. And if there's some things within ourselves that we can change as far as our money is concerned, like our needs, our desires, like I said, go back to that monk mentality and live off very little. We don't need all the glitz, the glow, the gold, the clothes, the shoes, all the time. You can just take care of yourself basic, uh, and still look bling, and still look bling. But we have to think about these things. We have to really think about these things, and definitely buy amongst other light beings, because we need to support our own businesses more. Hey, Emmanuel Briggs, welcome. Yeah, we need to support our own businesses, and it's that's not hard to do. We need to support our farmers. They got a farmers association that I'm thinking about joining. You pay it yearly. you know our farmers really need our help, out here. Financially, we need to, our finances need to be in house. And we need to look at things. We need to look at our finances and find out what's going on, because if it's, you know we need to do some research and call on some things, say some, voice some things, because either way, anything we do, we still get advantage taken of us, you know especially when it comes to taxes. So the money aspect is very, very critical. It's very, very critical. And this all starts now. the material, seeing the world the way they want us to see it, our mind, our creativity. We need to work on our creativity more, and that cause that recall that calls for a lot of meditation, a lot of meditation. Excuse me, fam. That calls for a lot of meditation time. Uh, a lot more taking care of the body, because the body is connected to the mind, right? So when you take care of the body, that means you're doing some form of exercise. You're strengthening the mind. You're actually strengthening the mind. And I'm very excited about moving forward because, as we say, um, our eating, sex, money, body, and soul is all a part of letting go of the material world. It's going to help us. We have to kind of work backwards. We have to work backwards to let go, slowly let go of this material world. And it starts in the mind and how we perceive our eating, how we perceive sex, how we perceive money, how we perceive our bodies, ourselves, our souls. Is our soul out here? Are we allowing our souls to be open to anybody to can touch? Because it takes a light being woman to guide her man to his higher self, to guide the light being man to his higher self. You can look around you and you can see it for yourself. Life has so much to show. Life has so much to teach. So with that said, I won't hold you guys too long. And that concludes us letting go of the material world and moving into our next phase of life, and um, being excited about it, and going into our powers. Because also, unknowingly, these things rise us to a higher energy when we work in that manner, and it allows us to have certain powers and privileges that open up to us once we recognize the right way of living and doing things, and not allowing ourselves to be anybody's slave, enslaved, or control mechanism, allowing anybody to control us or make us into their puppets. So always remember, true love, real peace, the higher self within our soul. Until next time, we are definitely, well, I'm definitely not religious. So I'm definitely not uh, an extremist, because I'm extremely not religious. Peace, family.